Da-da-da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, I am Sydney. I explore the inside and the outside. And in the past 25 weeks, we have been picking a word randomly, a powerful word, and we've been working on that word for an entire week. And one word, this word acceptance, we've done twice now. Now, who's to say what other words we might do twice? But this week, we really got an amazing word, and a word that, in first glance, you wouldn't think was a powerful word, but in second glance, right? You go, oh my goodness, it's so obvious, right? Flexibility was the 25th word that we've gotten, and we've been digging into this word since Monday. And today I thought I'd take a look at it in a different way. That flexibility when it comes to compromise, right? That flexibility of being able to understand, that we can only control what we can control. We can control our own thoughts. We can control our own actions for the most part, because sometimes we can get swayed by ourselves. Remember, we can be our worst sabotagers. But, when we find that ability to be able to be flexible and what we can control, and a little bit understanding in those things that we can't control. I talk about not crying over spilt milk. It has served me well throughout my entire life. It was probably a saying. My family was big on quotes, big on sayings, and I think this sounds like something maybe my grandmother on my dad's side would have said to me. You can't cry over spilt milk. And it really gave me that opportunity to put things to the wayside where, being empathic, being highly sensitive, if I was struck by something, an idea, a projection, just even something on my own curiosity, that I could become quite compulsed about it. And I can become compulsed in a learning kind of way. I can be compulsed in that having fun and that excitement, but it's also I could become compulsed in that little bit of beating up, right? Why did I say that? Why did I do that? What could I have done differently? Am I going to get in trouble? And then even forward thinking into that, how am I going to wrangle out of it? What's going to be my excuse? What will be the retribution? What can be the lesson in this? And right, it could just go on and on and on and on. So one of those very early lessons, and I teach it big time. It serves well in this idea of taking baby steps, right? And one of those first steps that helped me so greatly was just to be able to let go in something that, right, I couldn't take that back. I said something, I can't take that back, right? Right? I can make up for it in different ways. And if there's something I can do, if there's something I can move towards in order to resolve the situation, right? You have that responsibility. But once you've dropped that ball, right? You've dropped that vase. It doesn't matter how much crazy glue you use to put it back together, right? You're not going to be able to put it back together, right? And I accepted. I almost immediately accepted, unless there's a problem, right? If I slip on the ice and I break my hip, right? I'm just not going to get up and get on the bus and go to work, right? I'm going to rearrange my life to, right, take care of the moment that I'm in, because there is something I can do. There is something I should do, and there's something I will do. But if there's nothing I can do, getting that idea right off my plate immediately. It's going to save me a lot of compulsion. Number one. Number two, right? That focus that I can put into something else that's more important, right? And that's usually what I do, because if I'm hyper focusing on something, I'm going to get in trouble for. And it was part of my upbringing. It was part of the programming, right? It stopped me in being that, like, possibly that amazing student, of possibly maybe finding my life's purpose earlier and being able to be on a path or well grounded in an amazing life that I could have created differently for myself, right? Like I said, we can compulse about things in a good way, we can compulse about things in a bad way, and it can affect ourselves, right? It can affect us in a good way, right? If you compulse about making money, well, sometimes that can be a good thing if you need that money, if you got plans, you've got right goals that require that compulsion can be a driving force, right? But the way we talk to ourselves sometimes, right? When we've made a little bit of a misstep, right? When we think we're above that, we've got that lesson, we're solid, and then just to have ourselves fall flat on our face, possibly not breaking the hip, but maybe getting up and dusting our knees off and taking a look around to see who saw us fall, right? Right? And be a little bit embarrassed by that. Don't cry over spilt milk. I make a boo boo, right? I do get up. I do brush my knees off and I just try again, right? That's sometimes in that patterning and in that lessons that I get. And if it's, a lesson that would serve people, I would serve it every single day. But these came from painful lessons, but lessons nonetheless. And I've earned the rewards, right? At the end of any lesson, there's a test. And if you pass that test, there is a grade in that, right? And you can take that and go, good, good job. Or you can take that and go, oh, I'll never use that again, and put that up on the shelf. Or you can take that and go, oh, score. Who can I make this work on, right? It is in our choices. And if you've been hanging out with me for any length of time, I'm just looking at the clock because I am running off to work. It's my first day back after my set of broken up days off, but it is what it is. And I'm happy to be back at a job that allows me to ground outside of what I'm doing here, right? Because this can be very heady. And this is not a job for everyone, right? But I am enjoying this process. I am getting as much out of this as I'm taking in, as I'm serving out, right? This is for me. And in this reward, I'm hoping, right? And this was a lesson that I received, that this reward for myself will reward, right? Let the reward. It was an amazing knock me on the head kind of lesson for me, right? In something that I was looking to, right, to move forward, to serve in some way, but being in the lessons, being the little drummer girl, not having anything to give, being in that being as in previous, right? As in the past. In lack mindset. Lack is a state of mind, and abundance is just as easily a state of mind. And I look at all the things that I am abundant for in my life, and if all I have is my good health, I couldn't have asked for a better abundance. 100%, because it has allowed me to put a roof over my head. It's allowed me to take in the lessons. It's allowed me to make choices that aren't catered to those sometimes physical needs that way that we need, right? And at the same time, through my own choices, because I can, wrap my life around socially. And I'm grateful to have been able to get out of some of those, or to get some of those social needs that I so needed, right? That I so sent to purpose, that it's now a part of my toolkit, that I've got to experience those too. And I don't find that need in this moment to have them in my life. So at present, I'm able to apply myself psychologically, mentally, emotionally to the lessons that will allow me to let the reward. And that reward is, I'm hoping, I'm expecting, I'm anticipating at some point there will be a revelation in those comments, right? That we will be able to realize that in the evidence, right, of me showing up here every day, that the reward truly does reward. Okay. It's all tied into that, being flexible in our lives, being able, because if I didn't absorb a lesson that I had never heard before, that I had never anticipated that I might have an interest in, that I might, right, even possibly believe in, that next lesson might not have ever come, right? So being flexible, and like we were talking yesterday, open to new ideas, open to new conversations, and open to new possibilities, right? Right? Being open, right? To let that pride down a little bit, right? To say, oh my goodness, I believed something different 5 minutes ago. And that's a place to start too. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. See each other tomorrow.